Okay, we are live on YouTube. It is working even though we are 5 minutes late. We are a 5 minute tardiness. Forgive me for my tardiness. Okay, we are live on YouTube. It is working even though we are 5 minutes late. All right, let me get the chat in another window. Okay. All right. Let me wait a couple of minutes for the people to arrive. But in the meanwhile, while you people sit up, sit down, get your meals, get your lunch ready, or prepare otherwise any other kind of meal, let us get prepared. And today we're going to talk about the rules of the game and even a little bit about level design in video games. So if you like video games, this lesson is for you, especially if you like old school video games, 8-bit and 16-bit style. So let us talk about that. Okay. So let's wait a bit. Let's wait a bit. Since we're a bit early, people are probably preparing meals, preparing their lunch. But anyways, let us begin. When people arrive, people arrive. Okay, so like I said, today we're going to talk a little bit about level design and how rules are presented to us, not only in video games, but also in regular games, in games in general, and maybe even in life. Okay, so what happens is if you think about video games, okay, so what happens when we are playing a video game? And this, of course, is if we are playing a good video game. We are live on Instagram as well. Okay, so on today's YouTube video and live class, we're going to talk about level design, video games, and rules. Okay? All right. So reminding you that this live is happening on YouTube, and if you want to participate in the Zoom meeting, the link is in my bio, ok? O link, se você está aqui no Instagram, o link para participar na minha aula, na aula do Zoom, para você conversar comigo e a gente interagir, tá no link da minha bio, é só entrar lá e acessar a reunião, pedir para entrar, ok? So, without further ado, let us begin. Yes? So, when we're playing good video games, what happens is that it feels instinctive, it feels natural to play it, right? And why does that happen? Because the video game teaches us how to play itself, right? And how does it teach us how to play itself? By showing us the rules before or during the playthrough, during the gameplay. Yes? Nowadays, many games have tutorials, and of course, in older generations, many games had very large manuals, very long manuals with a lot of pages to explain the game content because it was difficult. Sorry, the weather in Curitiba is crazy. My hay fever is insane. So, video games teach us through gameplay. And of course, older video games, they needed sometimes a long manual, a long handbook, right? But the good video games of old times and of nowadays don't need either a long tutorial or a manual, a handbook to explain the rules and to explain the setting, the world, and the gameplay. Why not? Because you learn as you go. You learn as you play, right? Think, for example, let me share the screen here with you guys. Okay, so let's think, for example, on welcome. That's the first thing I can tell you. Welcome to the class, and because today we're going to talk about rules, we're going to talk about causes and consequences. So let's dive in. Have you ever thought about how games teach us rules? They do it through gameplay. They do it through a repetition. Yes, we have to do a task and we have to repeat the task over and over again. Yes? For example, here, what happens if you fall down a pit in Mario Super World? Yeah, pit is a hole. Yes, for example, in this picture, the pit is right behind Mario. Yes? So what happens if Mario falls down in a pit? I'm going to give you 3 options, and I'm going to give you some time to answer as well. So if Mario falls down a pit, does he get a 1-up? Does he get one life? Does he become big? Does he change from small Mario to big Mario? Or does he lose a life? Yes. What are the differences? What are the what happens in Mario? Okay. We have a viewer here. Let me admit our student. We're getting connected. Okay, Diego, how are you today? Are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing fine myself.
Excellent. This class I think you're gonna like. We're gonna talk a lot about level design in old and new video games.
Overworld.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's get this going.
Yeah. So I'm just telling them about how games teach us to play them, right? And I'm giving them the example of Super Mario World. So what happens if you fall down a pit in Super Mario World? And I'm giving you three options here. Does Mario get a one-up? Does Mario become big? Or does Mario lose a life?
I'm gonna give a hint.
Yeah,
He loses a
exactly.
life.
He loses a life. Exactly. And we learned that by playing the game. When you first start Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros., there isn't a tutorial, there isn't a screen that says, oh, if you fall down the pit, you lose a life, you die. You play the game, and if it so happens that you fall, you notice that you will restart the level with one less life, right? Or you will go back to the overworld, actually. Yeah. And that is precisely how games teach us. And here I would like to make a recommendation of another YouTube video, which is Sequelitis, why Megaman X is such a good sequel. Yeah. It's a video where he talks about the level design both in Mega Man and Mega Man X. And then he goes on to say that Mega Man is a very simple game. You just jump and shoot. But the way the level is designed, it becomes natural to find enemies and challenges when there are new challenges, when there are new problems that are presented to you. First, you are presented to them in a safe, controlled environment, and then they increase the difficulty, and by then you should be trained, or you should be prepared to the bigger challenge that's presented later. Yes. So every time you die, or every time you lose HP, you lose a life in Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World, or Mega Man, it's your fault, not the game's fault, because you were given a chance. You knew the rules of the game. Yeah. And then the answer, of course, if you fall in a pit, Mario loses a life. And then I have a picture. This is not Super Mario World, though. Do you guys know what game this is? What Super Mario is this? Any guesses? Diego, Danny, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I know which one this is. It's
You
Super
know?
Mario Brothers 3 from
Yes.
the first Nintendo.
Yes, it's Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, the Nintendo
NES.
Entertainment System. Yeah. But the way these old video games, and the good ones I'm talking about, of course, teach you to play themselves is through a cause and a consequence. You make the mistake, and then you learn from the mistake. Or you see something happening, and you learn that when that happens, something else happens. Right? Like here, if you fall in a pit, Mario loses a life. And this happens every time. Every time Mario falls down a pit, he dies. He loses a life. Yeah, it's a general rule. So it always happens. What other rules did you learn? Have you learned in your life? What other rules do you remember? We talked about Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario World, but what other rules do you remember? Yeah, let's see. We have something in chat here. Let me take a look. Oops. Okay. So I want you to write down rules of old video games that you learned. Ok? Então eu quero que vocês agora escrevam. A gente falou um pouco da regra do Mario. Toda vez que você cai num buraco, você perde uma vida. Que outras regras de videogames que você já aprendeu, além dessa do buraco no Mario? O que acontece, por exemplo, se o Mario pega um cogumelo vermelho? What happens when Mario collects a red mushroom? That's a different situation and it's a different rule. Yes, and then there is a green mushroom. There is the feather or the leaf as well, right? Então, toda vez que a gente faz essas ações nos videogames e elas têm uma reação, uma consequência programada, uma consequência que sempre é a mesma, nós descobrimos uma regra do jogo. E é assim que o jogo ensina a gente as suas regras, ensina a gente a jogar ele, tá certo? Então, eu vou dar um tempinho para vocês aí. Se vocês estiverem no YouTube revendo essa gravação depois, vocês podem pausar agora e escrever algumas das regras que vocês lembram que aprenderam, que vocês aprenderam em videogames. Ok? If you're watching this on YouTube, you know, I want you to write in chat what other games, what other rules did you learn from video games? Okay? Mas let's analyze the one rule we saw right now. Vamos analisar a regra que a gente viu até agora aqui nessa aula. Então, if you fall down a pit, se você cair num buraco, that is the cause or the condition. Essa é a causa, essa é a condição. Se você cair no buraco, tá? Qual é a consequência? Mario loses a life. Então, if you fall down a pit, it's the cause, it's the condition, and the consequence is Mario loses a life. This happens every time. There isn't an exception. Of course, we are ignoring here secret levels and secret stages with pits that lead onto other levels. But in general, if you fall in a pit, Mario loses a life. And this sentence, when there is a cause and a consequence, has a specific behavior, a specific pattern. Ela tem um padrão específico. Essa frase, quando a gente tem uma causa e uma consequência, ela obedece algumas regrinhas que a gente vai falar agora. So this is the zero conditional. Okay? This is the zero conditional. It happens when there are two sentences with a cause and consequence relation. Então, duas frases, duas orações com uma relação de causa e consequência. It's a general rule, so it always happens. Both sentences are in the simple present. So if Mario falls down a pit, he loses a life. Simple present. Yes? Another student, there you go. If can be replaced by when. And this is why the name of this conditional is zero conditional, because it isn't so much an if, but a when. And the sentence order can be changed. Yeah? Hello, Bruna, can you hear us? Bruna, Dani, can you hear us? Are you there? Are you watching? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have, teacher.
No questions?
No.
Okay, and everything clear so far? Até agora tudo tranquilo?
For me, yes. But
Okay.
I started to watch now because I was in other class.
Okay, no problem. All right. So let me, and I love Zoom because of this. Yeah, we're gonna see here. If Mario falls down a pit, if you fall down a pit, Mario loses a life. It's a cause and it's a consequence. So as we can see here, this sentence, this sentence is in the simple present, and this sentence is also in the simple present. If you fall down, Mario loses a life. Yeah, Mario, so loses conjugates to Mario. And we can also change the sentence. So we can say here, Mario loses a life if you fall down a pit. So I still have the two sentences. I still have a cause and a consequence, but now they have different positions. So now what happens is Mario loses a life. Mario loses a life if you fall down a pit. But this is not the only change we can make. Essa não é a única mudança que a gente pode fazer. We can also change if for when. So here we can also say, when you fall down a pit, Mario loses a life. And here, why can we do that? Because we know it is going to happen eventually at some point in the future. Yeah, so even though there is a cause and a consequence, it isn't a condition. It isn't something that can happen. It's something that will happen. Então aqui o que eu estou explicando é que a gente pode mudar o if para o when, a gente pode mudar o se para o quando. Por quê? Porque como é uma regra, a gente sabe que isso vai acontecer. Por isso que o nome é zero conditional, porque não é realmente uma condição, é mais uma situação, uma regra mesmo, é algo que vai acontecer. A gente tem essa certeza. Não é algo que pode acontecer, é algo que vai acontecer eventualmente. O melhor dos jogadores de Mario ainda cai nos buracos às vezes. So the best Super Mario player still falls down in pits sometimes. Yeah? So it's not so much if you fall down a pit, but when you fall down a pit. But both sentences are correct. As duas frases estão corretas. Take note that here we have, let me change the color here. In this sentence, if we use this order, we have a comma, and here we don't. Why does that happen? Because here, in this sentence, in the red sentence, if is separating the two sentences. So we need to know what are the two separate sentences. We need to be able to tell what sentence is what, okay? And if the word if is in the beginning, then I need another physical representation to separate them. But if the word if is in the middle, then the word if already serves this purpose. It already does this job. It separates the two sentences. Ok? Então aqui, isso vai acontecer em todas as condicionais. This happens in all conditionals. Quando a frase começa com o C, a vírgula está lá para separar as duas frases. A gente tem que ter uma indicação visual de quais são as duas frases. Então, se a frase começa com a palavra C, a gente tem que usar vírgula para saber quando a primeira frase termina e a segunda começa. Agora, se a palavra C está no meio, então se a gente inverte a ordem das sentenças, a gente não precisa da vírgula porque a palavra C já está fazendo essa separação física, essa separação visual. Alright? So, any questions about this so far? Haste is enemy of perfection, Dark Souls. I always lose when I'm in a hurry to kill the enemy. Exatamente. Exactly, Gabriel. Dark Souls is one of the, it's one of the examples I'm gonna give later as to a great game that teaches us through this. It teaches us through error and trial and error. So you try something, it works or not, and then you have to retry in a different way. Yes? So Dark Souls is it's one of my favorite games, actually. Yeah? Pessoal, alguma dúvida, alguma questão? Tanto o pessoal do chat do YouTube, quanto aqui no Instagram, quanto no Zoom. Alguém tem alguma dúvida, alguma questão? Eu estou lendo o chat do Zoom aqui também, se vocês tiverem alguma coisa. Everything okay? Everything all right? Diego, did you get this?
I just came back. I came to pick up my lunch. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Very good. Bia, Bruna, I know you're working, but write on chat. Yeah, if you write on chat, I can read you. Okay, Diego, all right, gave me a thumbs up so he understands. Bia, Bruna, Dani, we okay? Questions? Bruna, okay? All right.
Okay, Vicky.
Okay. So let me clear all my writing here. And now let's continue. Remember, I asked you to write your rules. Yes, I asked you to tell me of rules that other video games taught you and that you remember. So now is the time I want you to read these rules. I want you to tell me what were these rules. Então, pessoal do YouTube aí, se vocês podem escrever no chat, que outras regras de videogame que vocês lembram que vocês aprenderam? E aí o Dark Souls, ele é um ótimo professor de regras, porque você erra e tenta de novo e aprende várias vezes. Mas que outras regras a gente aprendeu aí? In English. In English. What other rules have video games taught us? Guys, in Zoom, you can also share your answers. As I asked you before to write rules that video games taught you, now I want you to share the rules. What rules do you remember from video games? Whenever you use a Master Ball, you'll always catch the wild Pokemon. Yes, the Master Ball has 100% chance to catch any wild Pokemon. Very good. And that is why in Generation 1, we always saved it to Mewtwo. Yeah. We always used to save the Master Ball to catch Mewtwo. But very good. When you use the Master Ball, you catch the wild Pokemon. You always catch the wild Pokemon. So that is a very good example of a rule. Yes. And I can also change when for if. So if, let's write it down here. When you use the Master Ball, you always catch the wild Pokemon. Or we can say if you use the Master Ball, you always catch the wild Pokemon. Yes, both of the sentences have the same meaning. Any other rules, guys? Any other examples you can think of? Pessoal do YouTube não tem exemplo nenhum? No examples from YouTube? Dani, do you remember any examples?
No, teacher.
Nothing.
I don't know.
Did you used to play video games when you were younger?
When I was a younger,
Okay, what games did you play?
Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd, okay.
Yes.
So what rules did Alex Kidd teach you? What happened when Alex Kidd touched an enemy, for example?
Was a little boy.
Mhm.
Need to jump some things and fight some animals.
Yes.
And I think so. It's a long time, teacher.
And when the animals touched Alex,
yes.
he died, right?
You need to save the king.
Yes.
Yes. I think so.
So when animals touch Alex, he loses a life or he dies in the video game. Yeah, Alex Kidd I'm talking about.
Yes.
So when animals touch Alex, he loses a life. Very good. Bia, are you there? Can you hear us? No? Okay. So we have here a couple more rules for you. Yeah, when you use the Master Ball, you always catch the wild Pokemon, and when animals touch Alex, he loses a life. So always causes and consequences. Okay? Very good. And here are some games that taught us through gameplay. Yeah, here are some of the examples of very good games that we might have played as children that were very remarkable. So of course, Super Mario Bros. It's a classic. And we learn, for example, if you collect this mushroom, small Mario becomes big Mario. Yeah, so when Mario gets the mushroom, he grows up. Sonic the Hedgehog. When you get 100 rings, you get a life. Or when an enemy touches you, you lose all your rings. Yes? Have you guys played Sonic the Hedgehog? You guys remember Sonic? Sonic was a great game, right?
I didn't play that one very much because I didn't have the Mega Driver. I only had the Super Nintendo.
Okay. And you didn't play it on emulation later?
Yeah, but only a little bit. I was more into Pokemon by then, Gen 3.
All right, fair enough. I still have my Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge for the Mega Drive.
Yeah. The only one I still have is my Fire Red, Pokemon Fire Red. The only cartridge I still have.
I still have my Pokemon Blue cartridge, my Pokemon Blue, my Yellow, and my Gold.
The ones from 1990 rule?
Yeah, exactly. So here are some, and this is the thing. These are good games. Why are they good games? Why do people feel they are good? Because they teach you through gameplay. When you do something, you learn by playing. There's no big manual, no big handbook, right? When you got Super Mario World, it doesn't need a big manual. You just start playing, right? The same happens for Sonic. You just run right and run as fast as you go, as fast as you can. And here we have some other examples. Megaman X, a beautiful game, and the one on the video that I recommended by Sequelitis. Yeah, so I do have to warn you, there is a lot of strong language in this video, and it's from 2009 or 2010, so some of his language might be out of date and offensive to some people, but the video itself, the explanation, the point he makes is very strong. Yeah, and he says that Mega Man X, which is this game right here, sorry, let's change the color. This game right here is a lesson in video game design, because in the first few seconds you learn that you walk, you jump, you have to jump over enemies, you have to shoot enemies to kill them, and that you get to charge your attack for a more powerful attack, and in a very natural way. Yeah, and of course, the example here is Streets of Rage 2, which is a classic beat 'em up. But I think most beat 'em ups are very straightforward, right? You just walk right and beat up everything that walks in your way. Yeah? Então aqui mais alguns exemplos de jogos que nos contam as regras, nos ensinam a jogar jogando. A gente não precisa de um manual gigante, que nem alguns jogos antigos precisavam, né? E one last example is the example that Gabriel mentioned. Yeah, Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a perfect example of a game that teaches us through gameplay. And there's a lot to learn in Dark Souls because there are many elements that you need to master to beat the game. Sonic was a game I played when I was young through websites like Clique Jogos. Okay. Very good. Gabi, how did you play it on the Super Nintendo? Did you play the fake? Because Nintendo didn't have a licensed, an official Sonic game. The Sonic was exclusive to Sega. So, but there was a knockoff. There was the bootleg version of Sonic on Super Nintendo, as well as the bootleg version of Mario on Mega Drive, right? And I had it. I had the cartridge for Super Mario on Mega Drive. It's a terrible video game. Don't play that. Okay. So these are some of the examples of video games that teach us through gameplay. Yes? Do you guys want to share anything? Do you guys want to tell us about your experiences with video games and rules? What do you guys want to tell us? I'm going to stop sharing here for a second so we can talk.
About rules, it was a nice rule that I've learned from Super Metroid is to pay attention to the music, the soundtrack. If the soundtrack foretells, it tells me up front what's gonna happen in that specific scenario.
Yes.
So whenever I heard da, 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 I know there's an item here, there's an item here.
Exactly. So the rule is pay attention, or when you pay attention to the environment, you are rewarded.
Yeah, or if you listen, if you hear a certain soundtrack, you are rewarded.
Yes. If you listen to a certain sound or a certain track, you know there is a specific event in the screen, right?
That's
either
it.
an enemy or a secret item or something you need. Right? Very cool. So let me share again. Let's just see here. Okay. And this applies not only to video games, of course. So this applies also to live events, right? Let me open Zoom up and start sharing the screen again. Share. So now I want you to think of other cause and consequence facts, because I was giving the example of video games, but in life we have many other cause and consequence facts. Yes, for example, when water reaches 100 Celsius, it boils. Yes, so that's a fact. That's a cause. When water reaches 100 Celsius, consequence, it boils. It goes blah, 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 right? What other cause and consequence facts can you guys think now? And if you're watching YouTube later, stop the video and make some sentences.
If you touch something hot, you get burned.
Yes. If you touch something hot, you get burned. Like, right? What else? What other life lessons do we have?
If your mother throws her tongs at you, she never misses.
Yes. If your mother throws her flip-flops at you,
Flip-flops.
They're always going to hit.
100% accuracy.
Yes. They're better than all the snipers in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Gabriel has one for video games. In Dark Souls, when the map is bigger than usual, it is a boss battle. Yes. When the map is an open, empty field, you know that's a boss arena, right? So that is a very good example of a rule. What else? Moms are snipers. What other examples can we think of? If you go out in the rain, you will catch a cold. Yeah. So there are many examples of these causes and consequences. Yeah, and facts that happen, mostly scientifical facts, things that cannot be questioned. For example, water boiling or water freezing at 0 Celsius. Yeah, when water reaches 0 Celsius, it freezes. So same idea. Yeah, it's a scientific fact. You can't question it. Yeah? Okay, so a quick recap of the zero conditional. There are 2 sentences. Both are in the simple present. The order of the sentence is not important. You can change it. There is always a cause-consequence relation. It is a general rule. So we're talking about general rules. And we can replace the word if with the word when. Yes? It's a quick recap on zero conditionals. Again, I'm going to open up for any questions, any problems. If not, if you're in Zoom, you can hit the thumbs up to let me know that you understand everything. But otherwise, if you have a question, you can speak up. Okay? All right, and I want to leave a motivational here. In these games, especially Dark Souls, mistakes are the best teacher. So don't be afraid to make them. Yeah, and this doesn't happen only in video games, only in these games. This happens in life. This happens when learning English. Yeah, you have to be able to make mistakes. You will make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, you learn, you improve. Yes? So you can't be afraid of making mistakes. A gente não pode ter medo de cometer os erros, de fazer os erros, porque são eles que vão nos ensinar e vão nos dar a oportunidade de melhorar. Tá certo, pessoal? E é por isso que aqui a gente está num lugar seguro, um lugar onde é para a gente errar. Eu digo que eu sempre incentivo os meus alunos a errarem, porque uma vez que eles erram, eles vão aprender qual que é o certo e eles vão ter uma oportunidade de melhorar. Então, jamais o erro ele vai ser condenado. Eu jamais vou rir de um erro ou falar, você está errado. Muito pelo contrário, eu vou falar muito bem isso. Né? Esse erro vai nos levar a qual aprendizado? O que a gente pode tirar desse erro? E é isso que a gente tem que fazer. É essa mentalidade que a gente tem que ter, inclusive no inglês. Essa é a mentalidade que eu quero na minha comunidade. Alright, guys? So, any questions? If you have any questions about zero conditional, now is the time. Yeah? Okay. So what can you guys tell me? What other rules do you remember, or what video games did you use to play? Did you have difficulties? Was this class easy, hard, difficult? Did you understand? Did I speak too fast? Did I speak too slow? What do you guys think about the lesson? Write on chat or tell me here, and then we will always improve our lessons. Okay? So just letting you know, just reminding you that this is a weekly event every Thursday at noon. Então, só relembrando vocês também que essas nossas aulas, elas são semanais, então todas as semanas, nas quintas-feiras, ao meio-dia, nós temos esse encontro marcado aqui para a gente aprender um pouquinho mais do inglês, tá certo? Pessoal, vou dar mais uns minutinhos para vocês, inclusive porque no YouTube tem um delay, tem um atrasinho. Então, se vocês tiverem qualquer dúvida, se vocês tiverem qualquer consideração sobre a aula de hoje, fica aí aberto o espaço para essas dúvidas, considerações ou qualquer questão que vocês tenham. Bruna, seja bem-vinda. É a sua primeira aula, acho, então seja bem-vinda, né? O resto do pessoal acho que já é velho de guerra. Diego, tudo tranquilo?
All good here, mate.
All right. Okay. Let's see, we have, okay. You're welcome. So, if we have no further questions, this is where I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, we're gonna be ending in very few moments.
Just a little comment on Dark Souls. Although the game is very cause and effect, you learn by playing. You can learn a lot of vocabulary by reading the items descriptions.
Yes, yes. Dark Souls is an excellent game to get vocabulary. They are very hard words. I wouldn't recommend it to a beginner, but from intermediary above, it's okay, especially advanced.
The lore is very deep.
Yes.
When you start reading about it, oh, this monster only exists because he was slain with this sword, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then like it's because Artorias lost his mind because he went into the abyss too many times, and then right. Yeah. So it's very crazy, and there are many difficult words.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just you're a soul, and go in there, and you're gonna die a lot.
Yeah. Here, take this sword, fight those guys. Huh?
Legend of Zelda, the very first one.
Yeah, the very first. Don't. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Take this.
You get a sword. That's it.
A little boy with a giant sword has to fight against the whole world
and save the world and Zelda, right?
Yeah. Defeat Ganondorf.
Yeah. Okay. And Zelda is one of my favorite games as well. I love Zelda. I can't wait for Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh. I can't pay for a Nintendo Switch, so I gotta do with what's that?
There are emulators though.
No, it's a similar game on the phone.
Oceanhorn.
What's it called again?
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, that's the one.
Genshin
Impact.
Okay. I don't like Genshin Impact because of microtransactions. But as a game, it's good.
Yeah. It's good. If you're poor and can't do even microtransactions, or buy Zelda.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much of a difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing emulators is fun. Can still play Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, so on and so forth. Yeah, emulators are great. Nintendo, I'm sorry, you never heard this from me, okay, Nintendo? Oh yeah. If Nintendo finds this video, it's gonna get banned. Yeah, buy the original cartridges. You can only emulate the game if you have the original copy, okay? If you have the original copy, you are allowed legally to emulate. Good reminder. Yes. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. It's 1 p.m. already. And I will wait for you next week, Thursday at noon. Okay? I'll see you again. See you. Thanks, mister. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you. You too.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye.